Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we'll be talking about package management in Linux systems. So, we have several package managers ranging from the popular Debian package manager known as apt, and we also have RPM for Red Hat based Linux distributions. So basically, package management is a way of managing how applications and software are installed on Linux systems. So and we have the Yum package manager also, which is also a Red Hat based package management tool. We'll start with the Debian package management system, apt. Apt. So I would like to run this on my local system. I believe we can all see me. You can all see my screen rather. So let's say, for example, I want to install a new application. I will do sudo apt install let me install MariaDB. Now I have two options. I can do sudo apt install -y so that the installation will not ask me to confirm my installation, or I will leave it like this without -y. The -y, if I include -y, the installation the Linux system will not ask me to confirm installation of packages from that particular repository. So I'll type in my password. So basically what happens is that, okay, unable to locate this package, let me try to install something else. Sudo apt install MySQL. Still unable to locate package. All right. Let's not waste time. Let me go into my Ubuntu operating system. I wanted to do this on my Kali operating system so that I will just show us some things. Kali is also Debian based, just like Ubuntu. So what happens when you run apt install or sudo apt install is that the system tries to, through internet access, try to fetch packages and files necessary for that application to work from a repository. The repository could be anywhere. It could be a server. It could be in a server somewhere that we don't know. So that is what basically happens. So I am on my Ubuntu system here, and the first thing I would like to install is Tmux. Sudo apt install Tmux. I'm not using the -y flag. I want the system to prompt me to type Y or yes while it's installing. So I type in my password. I think that there's a problem with my Ubuntu system, one of the packages. Let me try to fix it. So while this is running, let me continue with the slide. So Debian package management tool, just like I was mentioning, or just like I said. You can either use apt or apt-get. So apt and apt-get basically do the same thing. The only difference is that apt-get provides, there's a little bit of difference between apt and apt-get in the output provided, and we're going to see that when we use our system, when we try to use the command. This is running. All right, let me use my primary operating system. Let me try to install Podman. All right, you can see this is now installing. So you can see the system prompts me to type Y to continue or N to terminate the installation. So I'll type Y, and I can actually do it by adding the flag Y to that command, like I mentioned initially. So Podman will be installed. So this my Ubuntu virtual machine, there's a problem with the sudo command, and I'm using another type of another package manager tool that's common in Debian-based system called dpkg, or the package, as I like to call it that way, or you can call it dpkg. I'm using it to fix that. So while this is running, we'll continue on our on my primary operating system, which is Kali Linux based. So you can see Podman is installing. It is trying to get the necessary files for installation from several repositories. We can see, as you can see here. So we can use apt-get, like I mentioned before, and to update your system, you simply run sudo apt update to update all packages on the system. So to remove a package, you use sudo apt remove, then you type the package name. All right. Now, more on apt, you can use sudo apt purge to uninstall a package along with its configuration files. I can use sudo apt upgrade to upgrade all installed packages to their latest versions. So if you want to remove a package, an application, you use sudo apt remove, but there's also auto remove, which removes unnecessary packages that were automatically installed as dependencies, but they are no longer needed. So like I was saying, that dpkg is another package management tool for Debian-based operating systems, for Debian and Debian-based operating systems. So Debian is a Linux distro from which many other Linux distros were developed. For example, Ubuntu and other Ubuntu flavors, and even Kali Linux. So we can use the package -i packagedem.deb to install an application, and I will run that here on my system. Immediately this installation is done. While this is going on, I want to do something. I have a package already installed called Tmux. Tmux allows Linux system administrators to be able to handle several sessions, work on several shell sessions on their system, making them more productive and fast. So I'll use this Tmux. When my Ubuntu system is done with the fix I'm running, I will try to install it. So I'm in a Tmux shell. If I want to, I can split my terminal and open several shells. This is one shell session. That's the ID is 0. If I want another shell session, I'll press Ctrl B and C. You can see I have another shell session here, 1. So I can decide to go back to the previous shell session, Control B, and I will type the ID, Control B0. I'm back here. So I want to split my screen so that I can, I don't like it this way, so that I can do multiple things at a time so that we can be a little faster. So now I want to use the package to, or let's, I don't want to mess up my primary operating system by removing any application. That's why I will not do apt remove. And for some reasons, my Ubuntu system is still fixing, I'm still fixing some package issues on my Ubuntu system running here. So we'll explore the package now. When this is done, I will remove, okay, this is done. So we'll explore how to remove a package. Use sudo apt remove, then the package name. Podman is installed. That is why you can see when I'm typing here, if it's not installed, if the package is not on my system, it's highlighted red. That is Kali Linux for you, and Kali is also a Debian-based system. You can actually use it. So you can know Podman is installed like this. So I can run Podman. Podman will come up, but that is, by the way, okay. There's a command I should use in addition to Podman, but I want to remove Podman. Sudo apt remove Podman. So this will remove Podman, and I will use the -y flag so that I will not be prompted to type Y. So while that is going on, I want to try to use the depackaged app package management tool, dpkg. So I think I have a file that I can run. So you can actually use the package to install applications from Debian repositories, applications that end with the .deb extension. You can see here, that's why in my slide here I have this name, package name.deb. So there are some applications that when you want to, you have to install via the package. Probably if they are not available in the apt repositories, you have to download the deb package. For example, like VS Code and the likes. So if, for example, you want to install VS Code, you may need to use the package, and you download the Debian package, the deb package, and you use the package -i, then you specify the file name. So I'll come back to my terminal here. So we can see that Podman has been removed. You can see the following packages will be removed. Podman, you can see. So one auto remove from other. So assuming I didn't put this -y flag, it will prompt me to type Y to confirm the removal. So that is that. I want to exit this terminal so that I'll be using Tmux to show you the power of the tool. So let me try to navigate to my downloads folder. I think I have some deb packages that I can install from deb package from my downloads folder. It's not there. Okay, I just hope. Let me. I think I uninstalled it. A minute, let me try to check for the packages that I have here. For some reasons, Ubuntu is not fixing this, but let me try to get the package here. In order to save time, I would like to move on because I have loads of things for us today, but just know that you have to download the deb package and use this command, the package dpkg-i, then the name of the package in full. So, and you have to ensure that you are in the directory that the file is. that is the directory where you downloaded the deb package. Now, moving on, we come to an interesting part. Today, I'll be spinning up a Red Hat Enterprise Linux system from um, on Azure, and we'll be doing some installations and removal of application on it. So this is RPM package manager for Red Hat based Linux distributions like Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, and Fedora. So the primary command line too is RPM. Some common commands are we have RPM-I, package.rpm, and we have RPM-E, package name, to remove package, but it doesn't remove the configuration file. RPM-U, then the package name. It upgrades a package with a newer version from the RPM file. If you want to list all installed packages on RPM, so let me go to the next slide so that I will. Now, the next thing now is to quickly launch a VM from Azure. For my audience, if you don't have an Azure account, if you are a student and you have a working email address, you can actually open an Azure account without a credit card for free, and you'll be given $100 of credit. So this will be shared with you. But if you're not a student and you don't have a student email address, you can use this link to open or to get an Azure account, but you need to have it. You need to input your credit card details, and you'll be given $200 of credit. For student account, you'll be given $100 of credit, what's valid for a year. So for those of us that have an Azure account, you can follow along with me. So the next step is to go to portal.azure.com. I want to quickly spin up the Red Hat based distribution, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So I'll click on virtual machines rather, and we have it here. We'll actually click on it here. I'll click on create. I'll click Azure virtual machine. You can see my own account is actually Azure for Students. I still have my student email address back then in school still working. So I'll give this a name. I'll call it Red Hat. So in which region? There should be a region here. Let me note this. Alright, so Red Hat, leave other settings default. I'll come to under image, I'll choose Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.7. Alright, let me look for another Red Hat distribution. So we have to note this user because that is the user who we use to SSH into our Red Hat distribution, the Red Hat virtual machine hosted on Azure. This Azure user. So port 22 is open, and I'll click on next. disks. I will ensure this is checked so that when I shut down or terminate this VM, the disk is also terminated. I'll click next. I'll check this. I'll click next. And on this management session, I'll just leave everything default. I'll click next. I'll click next. Sorry, let me check for something. Alright, this key name, I should note this key name, Red Hat underscore key. Let me just put that here. So it will be Red Hat underscore key.pem when after I create the VM. And I'll leave this as default and I'll click review and create. So while it is creating, let's see if we can move to the, okay, this is just the things I've been doing. These are the things I've been doing on this slide. So we're waiting for it to create. Then I'll download the PEM file. So let me just shut down my Ubuntu system. So when it creates, I'll copy the public IP so that I'll use that to SSH into the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system that I just pinned up. Then I would set the permissions. If you joined us in our classes, our previous classes, we've done permissions, and we talked about this chmod command. So we'll change the permissions so that SSH we'll not get a permission denied error when we try to use this private key to access our VM. All right, it says the deployment is in progress. Let me just click explaining. So after that, we can use this command to just check. We'll go to the directory where it's downloaded, then we'll SSH into the VM using this. And when we're done, we'll ensure that we delete the VM so that will not accrue unnecessary costs. Let me check if this is done. All right, this is done. And this is my key file. So open terminal. So let me use ls and I'll grep for Red Hat. You can see the key file. So I want to move this key file to my folder, to the folder where I save, to my .ssh folder where I save private key files. All right, so if we go to this directory, we should be able to see, you can see it here. You can actually use piperep to quickly get it again. I've done this before and I think I didn't delete the initial one. So with the time, I should be able to know the correct one. This is the correct one. This is the correct one. So, okay, let me quickly remove this other one. But for some reasons, to be on the safer side, sorry, let me copy this to my desktop folder because the two files are having the same name. Um, all right. So if I come to my desktop, see the all right. So I can actually do this. I can remove. Let me remove this other one. So I'll change the permissions of this one to 600. It can actually be 400. I just like using 600. So, but 400 is, let's just use 400. It's more secured. It means the user only have read access to it, no write access. So when I change the permissions, all right, let me sorry sudo chmod. To save time, I'll do this for my desktop. The file is on my desktop. I'll do ssh-i, the name of the file, the name of the private key file, and I'll copy the private IP address of my resource, which is the Red Hat Enterprise Linux that I spinned up. So I'll type yes. Okay, this permission stuff that I was trying to do. Oh no, why is it saying no such file? This has messed up this. Alright, so the chmod 600. Alright, so still permission denied. Why? 2083 178 217. I've messed up with my PEM file, so let's move on instead of wasting too much time. So for Red Hat based distros, while I continue, I'll recreate another one because it was duplicate and I had to delete one so that I will know the right one. Because I've done this before and I didn't change the name. So moving on, I'm trying to delete the resource so that I can spin another one. So when we SSH into the instance, we'll come back to this. Let's quickly talk about Yum Package Management tool. So Yum Package Management tool is used in Red Hat based Linux distro, just like Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, Fedora, and the likes. So it is useful for installing packages like I've mentioned. So we can actually do this. You can install new package by running this, assuming our system, our Red Hat VM. I didn't mess up with the PEM file. I made a mistake. So let me delete the resource. Let me delete the resource. But while we wait for that, fortunately, I have another Red Hat based distro on my system, which is CentOS. Let's quickly use that. Oh, if I can enlarge my screen, okay. Preferences, fixed tab is font. So let me make this font 16 or 18, whichever one. Okay, apply. Okay. To my audience, I believe we can all see now. I believe we can all see this. So a quick one, I'll spin up and call it RHEL. Key pair name RHEL key. Alright, that's nice. So it's been long I logged into this. Let's all right. I believe we can better see my screen now. So for Yum Package Management tool, it's just similar command. You use Yum install. This is downloading. So I will quickly open my terminal here, and I'll do ls pipe grep RHEL. So I'll do sorry, let's do LL. So I'll change this. I'll change the permission. and I will do SSH -I RHEL Azure user at, and I copy the public IP. And deployment is actually in progress. So while this is on, let's talk about other package management tools. We have other package management tools like Pacman, which is used in Arch Linux. Arch Linux is another Linux distribution, and we have Zypper, which is used in open source, and we have DNF, which is like a higher version or a sophisticated version of Yum, which is very useful in Red Hat-based enterprise Red Hat-based systems such as Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora, or CentOS. So we have other ones like Snap and Flatpak. Snap is very useful to install like third-party software. You can use the command snap install VLC to install Snap on your VLC on your Ubuntu or Red Hat system. So Linux package managers, like I mentioned before, Linux package managers typically retrieve packages from software repositories, which are servers, like I mentioned, containing precompiled software packages suitable for the specific Linux distributions. So repositories ensure that packages are up to date and are compatible with your system. So let me quickly check if my deployment is done before I move to the second thing that we have for today. So my deployment is done. So we'll quickly brush through installations, and so I'll copy this and I'll type PS. So you can see that I'm in my Red Hat Enterprise Linux launched from Azure. So if I want to confirm this, I can actually cut this file cat /etc/release. So we can see the Red Hat Linux. You can see the version and all of that. So a quick one, let's quickly install some applications, some packages using Yum, and also use RPM. So to start with, I can use RPM. All right, I will do Yum. Yum install VSFTPD. So VSFTPD is a very secured version of FTP. While this is installing, so we can see the package is being installed. So while this is being installed, let's quickly run through some other things. So that is installation for you. Installation. So we want to talk about operation of foreign systems. We can do this. Involves booting, rebooting, or shutting down a system safely. So to reboot or shut down a Linux system, we use the systemctl command, or called system control command, and it actually requires sudo privileges, unless your current user has sudo privileges or is a member of the whale group. Now, to reboot a system, we can do sudo system reboot. This will reboot the system. To power off, to shut down the system, you can do sudo system power off. To force shutdown, we do sudo systemctl reboot dash dash force. To force power off, we do sudo systemctl dash dash force. So actually, and if you want to, if for example your server freezes due to maybe too much, some applications are consuming too much resources, and for some reasons you want to force shutdown, and the dash dash force flag does not actually shut it down, as a last resort, and I will repeat, as a final or last resort, you can actually shut down the system by adding the dash dash force flag twice. So I'll quickly come back to this, and we can see that the installation of VSF TPD is on. So VSF TPD actually reboot the system. I'll quickly reboot my Red Hat using sudo ctl. You can see automatically the SSH connection is closed, and the system would reboot wherever the server is located physically. To reboot. So while it is rebooting, I will not be able to immediately SSH into it. It will take maybe a minute or two to come up. And while that is on, I would like to quickly explain some other slides. So we may want to do a shutdown for scheduled maintenance or upgrade. So, and that is one very, very important function of the shutdown command on Linux system. So if as a Linux system administrator, you may want to shut down some of your servers in order to, in the midnight or late hours, because it is the most convenient time in order to avoid service interruption. So you can actually do a shutdown of the system, probably for a maintenance or so, using the sudo shutdown command. And when we use this 0200, this is in 24-hour format. This shut down the system at 2 a.m. So we can do a shutdown such that, let's say we want to shut down our system after 15 minutes, we'll do sudo shutdown plus 15. So let me quickly SSH into my system, my Red Hat Enterprise Linux once more. So I'm back in. So I will not want to run this command now, but I can actually do a scheduled shutdown. So let me do a quick scheduled shutdown, sudo shutdown, let's say in the next 5 minutes, while I recap some of the things that we've done. Sudo shutdown plus 5. This will shut down the system in the next 5 minutes. You can see shutdown scheduled for this time. So I can cancel that. I can cancel it using this command. So while we're waiting for the system to shut down, we can explore more things. You can reboot a system at, let's say, 2 a.m. by passing the -r flag to the shutdown command. Now, you may also want to do a shutdown that will display a message, like a warning message, before the shutdown happens. So to do that, you do sudo shutdown -r. Let's say I want to shut down my system in the next 1 minute plus 1. Now I'll type the message in single quotes. So let me quickly cancel this shutdown. I'll do shutdown -c. to cancel the shutdown. Let's see, I think this requires sudo. Yes. So I've cancelled that shutdown. So we can schedule a shutdown for, let's say, the next 5 or 10 minutes. So we scheduled restart to do an offline backup of the database. So let me just make this like, let's say, the next 10 minutes. And while we wait, we'll quickly review some things. So, okay. So while this is on, we move on to, so that is a brief, that is all we need to know about shutting down, rebooting the system, and setting scheduled shutdown of the system or scheduled reboot. So this now is a scheduled reboot because I passed the -R flag. So if you want to confirm that, you can check the man page for the shutdown command. So I can check this. You can see that -R, and it in a long format it is -R for a scheduled reboot. So one other thing we will discuss today is this. One other thing we will discuss is putting into changing boot modes of Linux operating systems. So Linux, as a Linux system administrator, you need to know how to use the CLI, and all Linux servers or most Linux servers are better used or are better yes, all Linux servers are better used from the CLI. So we have several boot modes ranging from the multi-user mode, the graphical mode, which is the GUI mode, which most of us are familiar with. I also have other boot modes such as the emergency boot mode. We have the rescue mode. So now, while my Ubuntu system comes up, I will show us another boot mode. But while it is loading, let's quickly check. So we can quickly check the boot mode of the system. To check that, we'll do sudo systemctl get default to check the boot mode. You can see the boot mode is in multi-user.target, meaning it is CLI only mode. That is multi-user.target for you, and such multi-user mode will have full network access, full network services, and the CLI. So we can actually change from the CLI mode, the multi-user mode, to the GUI mode. If you want to change a GUI application from graphical.target to multi-user.target, you run this command sudo systemctl set default multi-user.target. So let me log into my system here. Now I want to try something. I want to change my Azure VM, the Red Hat Enterprise Linux I learned from Azure. I want to change its target. You can see it's multi-user.target. I want to change it to graphical.target. All right, so that is set. So we can run sudo systemctl get default once again to see it. So we can see that. I'll quickly reboot my system now to see if So, but so my Ubuntu system is up. So I'll do the sudo systemctl get default. You can see that for Ubuntu it is graphical to target. I want to change this to multi-user mode so that it will be only CLI. Set default multi-user dot target. So if I check again, you can see that. So if I reboot my system, sudo reboot, this should reboot into a CLI only mode. Let me SSH into, but I want to believe that this will not display GUI for me. Yes, because this is a server, it will not display the GUI even when, because the necessary packages, the necessary GUI packages have been removed before now. So this, even if the system, even if the default boot mode is graphical target, it will not see display the target because it is a server. We can see. So we have other, okay, we can now see that I'm back to my Ubuntu. You can see that it is I want to enter my username. You can see that it is now GUI only, it is CLI only. You can see. So that is how you change mode. And as a Linux system administrator, you must be versatile with the terminal. You must be versatile with the command line. So I always advise people, if you want to, if you are trying to learn Linux and you really want to know it very well, you want to be a terminal ninja, try to have at least a VM. Even if it's not your primary system, you make you make CLI only. At least have a VM, a virtual machine that you have that is CLI only. That is whose default boot mode is multi-user target. That is CLI only, and you can actually run so many commands and do some things. So I can cat /etc/wd file. You can see everything here. You can see the users and all of that. So I can do so many other things. If I check my file, we will see that so many other things I have here. We can see all those things that I have in the GUI. We can see them here. So that is how you change between multi-user target mode, which is CLI only mode, to graphical target mode, and also change from graphical mode to CLI mode. So finally, we'll talk about other boot modes. Emergency.target is a special target for emergency situations, providing a minimal environment for troubleshooting and recovery. I have rescue.target, which provides a single user mode for system maintenance and recovery. So okay, on this one, I don't think there's any. Okay, let me see if I can increase this one here. But I don't think I can increase this one here. Preferences, display. Font. Oh, sorry. All right, I think this will do. Moderator, let me know if it is better. Let me just make this 200. I think this is how far it can go. So let me try to check my default target. You can see it's multi-user.target. So I'll change it back to GUI mode. Sudo system ctl set default multi-user.target. So when I reboot this, I do sudo reboot to reboot into GUI mode. You can see. So that is, I think that is the end of today's session. We talked about. Let me just quickly do a quick recap. We talked about package management, and I talked about the apt package manager, apt-get package manager. You can do sudo apt-get. Sorry, this is Red Hat. Let me come to my primary operating system. Sudo apt-get upgrade, and I will do -y so that it will not prompt me to confirm. So that is apt-get for you. So an apt, and do sudo apt upgrade, but an upgrade is ongoing, so this will conflict, and I don't want to do that. So after that, we talked about Yum package management tool, and I mentioned installing using this command and also this command. We can do installation from a local FTP site. So we can do a reinstallation. For example, we can do, okay, let me do this. Yum reinstall NFS utils. Sudo yum reinstall NFS utils. So you can see, so as a summary, all right, the package is available already. As a summary, so we have several package managers, but for Debian-based systems, we have apt-get, both are similar. We have the package GPKG. We have Snap that works on all the Linux distributions. Then we have, for Red Hat Enterprise Linux systems, we have DNF, we have Yum, and we also have RPM for package management. So, and I talked about other package managers for Arch Linux like Pacman, and for open source Zypper. Now we have other. So after that, we now talked about boot mode, operation of foreign systems, rather rebooting and shutting down systems. Then, and we ended today's class with booting into different operating systems. So we've come to the end of this session. If you have any question, you can ask me. Oh, K-Shark FX, if I pronounce that right. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad I'm able to impact the little knowledge I have in everyone and everyone that joined. So if you have any questions, you can send them in. All right, my career is asking which is best to use between apt-get or dpkg. You can use any of apt or apt-get. They do the same thing. The end result of both apt and apt-get is the same. Now, the package is a little bit different, such that there are some applications or some packages that are not available in apt or apt-get repositories that you need to install with dpkg. I mentioned like VS Code, for example. You have to download the deb file. The deb file. I believe my screen is still, I'm still sharing my screen. So let me quickly go to VS Code site and do VS Code. I'll just do a Google search that will show us this. Although I have VS Code already, but I'll download the deb file so that I can show us that I'll better answer your question. But for apt and apt-get, they basically do the same thing. You can use any of both. So apt-get is mostly used maybe if you want to upgrade your system, you do apt-get upgrade or apt-get update. So VS Code installation. Let me just quickly do that so that I'll quickly download the deb file so that will show us how the package dpkg works. So we can see .deb here. So if I download this .deb file, I can only install such the deb file, such package which is available as a .deb file using dpkg. When this is done, I'll try to install that. Definitely, it will prompt me that VS Code is already installed. But just to show you, Mr. Michael, so to install this, I'll do dpkg -i sudo so we can see. So that is the answer to your question. Oh, CLI means command line interface, which means that you work on your system, you use your Linux server or Linux system via the CLI, via the terminal. For example, on my system is GUI, but I also have access to the CLI here via this terminal. But if I change the boot mode from graphical.target to multi-user.target, it will become CLI only. Why GUI is graphical user interface, where you have applications as graphics, you have them as icons, and it is more user friendly. But as a Linux system administrator or as someone that is for you now that you are learning Linux, I will always advise that fine, start with a GUI, start with using GUI, but while you're learning, try to have a VM, a virtual machine that it is CLI only, where you run several commands and you gradually learn how to use several commands and how to be a terminal ninja, how to use the terminal very, very well. I believe that answers your question. It's the private key, Mr. Michael. It's the private key. So it's the private key file. That is why I have to change the permissions. Let me go quickly go to. So it is the private key file. That is why I have to change the permission. Okay, I will show you this since I will definitely terminate the instance and it doesn't matter whether you see the private key also. So I will quickly cut this file so that you see that it is the private key. So you can see this RSA private key. This RSA means Rival-Shamal algorithm, the algorithm used to create this private key. So we can see it is the private key. So that is the answer to your question, Mr. Michael. Send in your questions. Send in your questions. Yeah, go ahead and ask, Mr. Michael. Are there any other questions? I did not, Michael Ario, I did not create the key through SSH keygen. I did not create the key using SSH keygen. It is a VM created on Azure, and while I was launching the VM, I downloaded the PEM file. So it is a private key. For SSH keygen, you are right, it is the public key that you use so that you allow access to your server from another server. So it is different. For VMs that you spin up from the cloud, it is a private key that you download. And this is similar across all cloud providers. If you spin up an EC2 instance on AWS, you download the private key file as a PEM file so that you can use it to SSH into the instance. I believe that answers your question. Any other question? All right. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time, and by God's grace, we'll meet same time next week. Thank you.
Kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé. ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹ̀wọ̀n.
ó yá akéde mo fẹ́ délé bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ.
ọmọ ọba ni kò
bàbá
ṣẹrú.
àgbà ògbànigbà ní ojú àná ó ṣe gbám.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Ashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Ashem Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Ashem Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.ashem.com/ms learning. You can call 0704 636 7151 or call 0704 576 9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikule Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.